Come out with us and play. Love your London. Have a banana. In today's instalment of Love Your London, I reminisce about the times when I used to live on the Mile End Road. And you know those little trees you see in architectural models or maquettes? We see one being made right here in Aldgate. But we haven't finished showing you the rest of the Blind Beggar yet, have we?
Are you looking for it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, whereabouts is it?
What I thought was that there in the frame? Maybe it's not.
I don't know. Anyway, so people looking for the bullet hole. There was one bullet. There was one that went in the ceiling that was fired by as a warning shot, and then the other one went through the skull of George Cornell, and I thought hit a pillar, but maybe I'm wrong. There is someone actually called Mickey Goldtooth who does these tours called gangster tours.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them.
Ah.
No.
Just came in, shot somebody, walked out.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's all propaganda.
Yeah, basically.
Did he show you where the hole was?
No, he said it's not real.
It's not real? No. Right.
Now remember, in the last episode Sharon was drawing the Blind Beggar? Well, if you're among the first to watch this video, you'll still be in time to bid for it on eBay. The link is in the description part below. And since I'm in voiceover mood, I may as well remind you to click the like button, and if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button.
Okay, so this pub is also famous not just for the Craze, or for the Craze didn't actually really drink in this pub. It was just they shot someone in there. It's not just famous for the Craze. It's not just famous for Henry de Montfort, the Blind Beggar. Out here, William Booth used to preach. Now, back in 2002, you might remember there was a poll, I can't believe it was that long ago, for the 100 greatest Britons. Well, one of them was William Booth. He was the first general of the Salvation Army, and he started off preaching here. His wife Catherine was also a very, very powerful preacher at a time when really women were very quiet in these sort of things. Very few women spoke out, but she was, although she started off quite timid, she actually became a formidable public speaker. And she really believed in women's rights, and she even lobbied Queen Victoria to introduce legislation to safeguard females via a bill called the Parliamentary Bill for the Protection of Girls. It is a real shame that Catherine herself was also not named as one of the 100 greatest Britons. There were very few women on that poll, hardly any at all. I think there were 11, I might get that right later. And there was not a single black Briton in that poll either, not even Mary Seacole. So that's really quite outrageous. I'd like to think that nowadays, I mean, this was only 2002, not that long ago, but I think nowadays they would make an effort to make sure that that didn't happen, because that really is outrageous. Anyway, let's go and check out the statue. And here we are. Here's a statue of William Booth, who started back in 1865 the Salvation Army here on Mile End Waste. These are the Trinity Almshouses. These are the oldest almshouses in central London. It's Grade 1 listed. It was originally to provide housing for retired sailors, and it was built in 1695. To be precise, it was built for 28 masters and commanders of ships, or the widows of such. And it would cost 12 shillings a month per resident. There was a public campaign that prevented them from these houses from being closed at the end of the 19th century. Now, back then it wasn't called the it was actually called the Preservation Register. This is before they called it listed status. It was a Preservation Register. Now, no one actually knows who designed all this, but there is a possibility that it was in fact Sir Christopher Wren. Yeah, so this is the first buildings that were listed in this country. And over here we have the statues. Now this is interesting, because we have a statue for William Booth over there, But we have another one, and Catherine Booth. So it's fantastic that Catherine gets a statue, but rather typically William gets two. So even in the statues, he still comes out on tops. As I said, it really is ridiculous that she was not also included amongst the 100 Greatest Britons. This statue is unveiled, by the way, by Commissioner Sylvia Cox and Commissioner Nancy Roberts on the 150th anniversary of the Salvation Army. Okay, so now this mural, we're talking about the fact that not many women are represented in the 100 Greatest Britons. Unfortunately, not many women are represented in this mural either. The Queen is there, you can see her there next to the bells that I think represent the Whitechapel Foundry. Very, very few other women, if not any at all. I think we can see there in the Union Jack, we can see in the Union Jack suits, we can see Gilbert and George. Okay, so this mural was painted by Michael Barrett, James Glover.
Not many women artists either.
No, it was painted by Michael Barrett, James Glover and Nicholas Middleton. So three more men, as you said. So we see the Queen because she visited the Whitechapel Foundry in 2009. We'll talk about that more later when we cover Aldgate East. Very little else is portrayed of females. What we do see a little bit of the Guernica. Sorry, we're doing a documentary.
Okay, cool.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like you guys.
Thank you.
Like you.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Yes, we're doing our best. We're doing our best to promote London.
Yeah.
I love the artists.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
good,
you.
eh?
Do you mind being in the shot at all?
We're running out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even including me.
Yeah. What's your name?
Yeah. My name is Mohammed Omar. I come from East London.
You're from East London? Yeah, where we are
I'm from
now.
East London, and I love East London. This is my heritage.
Yeah. Yeah.
My place.
Yeah. I'll give you our cards.
So you can check us out online.
Yes.
It's my place. It's
Yeah.
my city.
Yes.
My village.
Well, I'm glad you love it. It's fantastic, isn't
And
it?
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I've been in this country for 26 years.
Where were you from originally?
From Somaliland.
Ah, so Somaliland.
Yeah.
Waiting for independence. So
Yes.
hopefully it'll
I hope
come.
so.
Yes.
One day.
You and Puntland, the two countries.
I
in
hope one day
Yes.
it will be independent country and everybody have to recognize who we are.
Because the people live there, they're stateless.
Oh,
They've
yes,
got no.
we did the best
Yes.
in East Africa.
And it's a very stable area. It's compared to the neighbours.
Very sophisticated, and very stable country.
Yeah. No, it's a lesson to the rest of Africa.
And I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, it gets lots of good publicity.
That is who we are.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the international community doesn't recognize us for a long time.
I know.
Since 1991. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we contribute in this country too.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Okay.
nobody recognizes us.
No.
Why?
Well, I recognise you.
You recognize it.
I recognise you.
Thank
Here,
you very
here.
much. Another.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Tristán. My name's on the card there.
Christian.
Tristan. All right.
Thank you.
Look after yourself.
What's your name, sister?
Sharon, I'm on the card as well, brother.
Sharon,
Yes.
Like
you are
Rose
the
of
best.
Sharon.
You are the best
Thank you.
photographer and the brilliant.
Hey, well, we're losing our light. We're doing our best.
Please say the whole world you have to recognize Somaliland.
Of course.
Yes. We must
Recently-
recognise Somaliland.
Recently, Israel say we will recognize.
Okay. Well, that's a start.
That's a start.
That's a start.
I hope follow suit.
Okay. Well,
Let's hope for the best.
all the best.
All the
Look
best.
after yourself.
Somaliland.
Thank you very much.
Best.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So.
So that's interesting.
great.
Interesting person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you there.
Okay. So
Okay. That was fun.
the mural.
Yeah, so we got a mural. Now there was a little bit of Guernica in there as well. A little bit of Guernica. The reason why is because, in fact, the Guernica was exhibited at Whitechapel Gallery in 1931.
Sure.
Not many people know that. Gandhi and Lenin, who both lived locally at some point, are also there. The big guy with the beard in the corner, that's George Bernard Shaw. Now I'm not sure, his connection with this area is very tenuous. He basically attended the Fabian Society lectures somewhere around here. Samuel Pepys is in there as well. Now his connection is actually a little bit more genuine. His mother ran a butcher's here in Whitechapel. But again, not enough ethnic diversity, certainly not enough females.
Okay, just to fill in the rest, that's William Booth, who not only gets 2 statues, but is also on the mural. That's Captain James Cook, just out of shot there. We'll find out why he's there in a minute. The guy over there, he's a local gambler and a tipster, and he's known as Prince Monolulu, and he used to shout out, "I got a horse," whenever he had a hot tip. The horse itself actually represents the local Charrington brewery. But the chap in front of it is Frederick Charrington, who went against the family tradition by starting a temperance movement. I bet that was an awkward family Christmas. These 3 guys represent dock workers. Lennon, who I mentioned earlier, lived in Whitechapel. He's here chatting to the Elephant Man, who we talked about in the last episode. Obviously that never actually happened, as John Merrick died in 1890, a full 13 years before Lennon was around this manor. That little boy there, he's meant to be lawyer Anthony Edwards, and he's with his uncle. I've no idea why he's there. Talking to Gandhi is Bushra Nazir. She's the first Muslim head teacher of a state school, and she studied at Queen Mary's College around the corner, as did I, but I'm not on there. Oh, that's her Madge, obviously, with the Whitechapel bell. We'll be talking about that in a future episode. And talking to Samuel Pepys, that's Isaac Rosenberg and Mark Gertler. They're both part of this artist movement called the Whitechapel Boys. That's Ronnie and Reggie Cray. Now that is David Hockney. He's from Yorkshire, but he had his first exhibition at Whitechapel Gallery, so apparently that's good enough. It's a bit tenuous, isn't it? But what isn't tenuous is Gilbert and George. We spoke a lot about them a couple of episodes ago. And that there is the artist's dog, Scout. Now, I've got no idea who those 2 up there are meant to be.
Well, that's us then.
Yeah, why not? Sharon Crawford and Tristán White, Whitechapel vloggers extraordinaire and purveyors of trivia and fun.
Okay, so talking of Great Britons, 100 Great Britons. See that window over there? See the Chinese China Ark supermarket over there? Well, the second window, the window in the middle, on the first floor, is where I used to live. When I was a student doing my Master of Arts at Queen Mary College, or Queen Mary in Westfield as it was known then, I was living up there with some friends. And I remember the place underneath it wasn't a Chinese supermarket. In fact, that supermarket is very new. It used to be called the House of Fashion. So anyone who from this area who remembers a place there called the House of Fashion, I was on the first floor in the middle, and I had a great time there. It was fantastic, as all my friends will attest. We had some great parties as well, but I can't talk about them because I will definitely be demonetized if I start talking about them. But maybe if you subscribe, I might have like a members only channel, and we can then talk about some more naughty things on there. Okay, we're just going to cross the road because in fact there is in fact a Great Briton who used to live here, apart from, be careful. Okay, we're clear. Okay, there was a Great Briton who lived here. It was here, and it was Captain James Cook. It was hit by the war, by the bombs, but actually it was pretty much in situ. It was actually demolished in 1959, which is quite outrageous. I'm really happy though to see the place where I used to live in hasn't been demolished. Okay, I wouldn't mind actually see if we can. Are you still filming? Let's see my old door. Hello. I used to live here.
Is it?
Yeah, I used to live here in 1989. No, 1992 to 1993. I used to live first floor in the middle. Long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you live here now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fantastic. Good to see that it's still being loved.
Yes.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to cross the road again. Sorry, we should have done this before we crossed it. Sorry about all this road crossing. We're going to cross the road again because over there was a fantastic pub. It's now a Thai restaurant, unfortunately. I've got some stories to tell you about that place. I'll just stand here. So there we have Thai Pie. Now this pub used to be called the Three Cranes, and it had another name as well. It also used to be called the 45s. It's at number 45 Mile End Road. This is in fact technically Mile End Road. Okay, so over here, Thai Pie used to be called the 45s, 45 Mile End Road, and it was a really cool place. Obviously, as I said, I used to live opposite. I drank in this pub probably every single night. It was one of those places that used to have a fantastic lock-in. They'd close the pub up, and there was a pub in there. There was a piano in the corner, and there was this guy. I mean, if people used to drink there who are watching this, between those upside down. Sorry, branding. So when I used to go in there, I used to go there every single night with my flatmates, or sometimes alone, because it didn't matter. I knew everyone in there. It was a fantastic place. And so this place here, there was a piano in the corner, and there was this old guy. If anyone who used to drink there between 92 and 93 will remember this. There was an old guy with a grey sort of stubble, and he used to play the piano, all the old Cockney Joanna sing-along stuff. And he used to get absolutely plastered every night, and at a certain point every night he would need the toilet, and rather than go to the toilet, he would go in the corner, in that corner over there. He would go in the corner of the pub, actually in the pub itself, and it would create a puddle in the corner, and so that corner was always very, very smelly. It was his corner, but it was our job when we were in there to watch out for for the warning signs, because only around about 1 o'clock in the morning he'd get up from his piano, and then you'd have to rush over to him and try and guide him into the toilet. But sometimes it was too late, and sometimes he was already beginning his business, so it's sort of like it would actually make the puddle even larger. But let's go in there and see if they know about this story. I used to drink in here years and years ago. I used to live just over there from 1991 to 1992. This used to be a pub called the Bar 45, also known as the Three Cranes. And there was a piano over there in the corner, and an old man used to come over here and relieve himself. It's this absolutely fantastic atmosphere in here. It's changed. So do you mind being in the camera or something? Sorry? Do you want to say anything about we're doing a blog about the area?
You're doing
a blog. I don't have it. There we go. Love your London. And we're doing a blog about the area, about all the interesting places.
Yeah.
So this the health
video is fun.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. I won't disturb anyone. Cause this brings back so many memories over here. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. It's just in this corner. That's where it always happened. Fantastic. Thank you. That's great. Brilliant. Thank you. There you go. He's really interested in it. He's really interested.
I'm glad to hear it.
Anyway, yeah. So that was really interesting. Oh, that was really interesting. As you saw, he didn't know that story at all, but he did know it was a pub called the 45s. He didn't know about the old man in there. But yeah, no, brilliant.
Oh, and if you do know the chap I'm talking about, maybe you used to drink there, or maybe he's your grandfather or something, please get in touch via the comments below. Just to give you the heads up, the second half of this video is quite different from the first. It is a tour of the 4D model shop in Aldgate, so it will be mainly of interest to all you model making enthusiasts, cosplayers and architects.
Okay, so your name is Tim?
Tim, that's right. I'm one of the directors of 4D Model Shop. And what we do here, this is where we sell bits and materials for basically creative people. So we try and have materials. Anyone who's creative wants to produce something physically, then we sell it. So we have glues, we have paints, scenic products here. These are all grasses and textures and things like that for making dioramas. Behind here we have bits for details for putting on scale models, so there'll be figures, railings, cars and things like that for giving sort of scale and detail to the models.
And you've been here for how long?
We've been here for nearly 20 years now, believe it or not.
Shame on us. I think I would have spent far too much money in here.
Yeah, it's probably just as well you haven't found it.
May it happen.
So I'll take you around and I'll show you the various bits. Then this section here is all our casting materials. So we have various clays, air drying foams, and all sorts of clays here.
Look at these figurines. I love it. 1 to 200 scale. We have hard. We have street scenes.
Fantastic.
Oh, I'm in my element here.
Our main customers are architects, designers, filmmakers, prop makers, theatre designers, but then we have an awful lot of students who are doing a similar thing. But really what we're here is creative people. So now we're beginning to get more and more railway type people coming down because, you know, it's quite a niche, well, they're niche products really, various foams, felts. Coming through here, these are different type of foams. This section here is used for cosplay. So when people are making various costumes, bits and pieces, making your cosplay
wings and stuff.
Yeah, and your armour and things like that. It's such a flexible material, you can cut it really easily. You can thermoform it, so you can just heat it up and it'll go into whatever shape mould you've got. It's really quite clever. Cork sheets, which we sell quite a lot of these. These end up getting used a lot for doing landscape type modelling.
Yep.
So you can cut them out for the contours and then build them up and make things like that. These were originally made for the car industry. They used to be made for gaskets.
Yes, of
but
course.
that's all changed. So
Yeah.
we're probably, you know, one of the few people that use them. Basically, these are styrofoam foams. This is a dense foam which you can saw, you can sculpt, or you can cut it on a hot wire cutter. And the main ones we sell is this white one, which I think we're probably one of the few places in the country you can get it.
That's so expensive, isn't it? I mean, £62.80 for one piece.
It's quite a big piece.
It's nice and tight. It's like a tight
Yes,
grain.
It is expensive.
Well, it's expensive. It seems expensive.
Yeah, no, it is expensive. This is why we have it's just normal expanded polystyrene.
Yeah.
This gets used an awful lot by architects because
fine grain, tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it absolutely. When you cut it on a hot wire cutter, you get a beautiful. It's just a finished cut on it.
You get what you pay for.
Sheets
of copper and brass. And
copper, brass,
nice.
tin.
Soft rollables. Yay.
And you do workshops here with, you have like people who can come here obviously.
We used to do workshops, which was working quite well, and we basically had a few people who are kind of interested in running the workshops, and we've got a space which I'll show you when we get next door. And we used to run the workshops. Obviously we can't do that anymore, but one of the people who's been running them, he's done a number of Zoom workshops basically, and what's happened, we've supplied the materials.
Yep.
And that's worked out actually really well. He did a clear resin casting workshop, and when we did it here, we would just get people locally generally coming down. The first workshop we had to send materials out to Greece, to Poland, because there was people all over the place. So he was, doing a workshop, across the country, but across Europe as well, which is just fantastic. It was really, really interesting. It worked really well. Wasn't quite sure whether it would, but it actually worked brilliantly well. So these boxes are being packed up, ready to go out. These are student packs going to Manchester Metropolitan University students there, because obviously their whole way of working has had to change, where normally they would be going into their workshops to make their models and things like that. This is for an architectural course.
Yep.
Right, so this is our workshop in here, where we do, I'll take you into this section here. This is where we used to run our workshops. This used to be completely empty, nice and clean and tidy. When the COVID came, we had to completely redo the way we worked. So we've reorganised the shop. We've split up all our PCs, so people have moved into here so they're socially distanced, and we've sort of then managed to spread out all our mess across the place. So what we do here is we do laser cutting, we do acid etching, we do dry transfers, which you're probably thinking, what's that? And I'll show you in a second. And we do vinyl cutting.
Okay.
And also we do casting, resin and white metal casting. So what we do, I'll take you into the workshop, but I'll start you off with the etching.
Okay.
So we do acid etching into metal, and basically what that is someone sends us a piece of artwork, so it's normally a black and white piece of artwork, and what they want is that artwork cut in brass.
Yeah.
In order to do that, we need to make a film to imprint the image onto the brass, and this is a film that's been made. The film has a front and a back, and this would be these are just railings here, I imagine, or sort of an architectural structure.
So the white is what the metal.
Yeah, the white is the metal. The black is what will be eaten away.
Okay. Yeah.
That then gets imprinted onto a piece of metal, and this is a piece of brass, and the image is being imprinted onto it. And what you can see as metal, when it's put into the acid, will be eaten away, and you'll end up with a framework.
Right.
This is our film processing room.
Yeah.
So behind you we have an image setter, which is where we make the films. It's familiar stuff.
Yes.
This is a developer.
Yes, Stinko.
Yeah, I mean these bits of material mainly used in hospitals for doing
X-rays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all gone now, but it's perfect for what we need, because we need a film that has an emulsion on it.
It's a nice big plate size too.
Exactly. So perfect. So if we come through.
The yellow light of doom.
Yeah, so yellow light, because we basically have all our coated
It's photosensitive,
metal.
isn't it?
Exactly. So this is light sensitive, so the yellow light stops it being exposed. Talking about the workshops, we have done one on acid etching, where we produced various films, and I'll show you some of them. But you can expose the metal just using sunlight. So we've done that, and this chap who's run the workshops, he does them in Santander in Spain, where the light's a lot stronger, and we've supplied him with various materials, and then he does the
Puts him out on his balcony.
yeah, he does the workshop that using, rather than UV light, he just uses the sun, and it works perfectly. So these are various films that we've made. This is one of a tree, which we also make trees. The resin casting we tend to do over here. This is just a standard resin that we do. So resin is a two-part material. There's a base, and there's an active agent. You mix them together, and they then set after about 20 minutes. So behind you,
There's the item that came out of that mold. by the look of
exactly.
it.
So these
The
are
Benyon head.
some various heads that we've been
Cool.
casting for the customer.
Yeah.
You can pigment the resin, which is what we've done there, or in this case we've done clear resin. So this has just been very slightly pigmented to give that sort of lovely sort of limey yellow colour.
Neat.
Well, these are 1 to 50 figures, seated figures, but we have moulds for all the architectural scales anyone would want, we hope.
Those ones spin, do they? Or they
Yeah,
just,
so if we come through to here,
Fun.
these are our
What an Aladdin's cave this is.
exactly, these are our white metal casting machines.
Yeah, there you go. There's your centrifuge.
Exactly. So
Nice.
the moulds would go in,
Clunk there.
this
Whirls
goes
around.
down. It's not turned on at the moment, but basically it would spin. We have crucibles full of white metal. They're basically tin alloys.
And what's your temp? It's a very low melting point.
Yeah,
on
it's
this.
very low melting point.
So yeah,
You basically scoop out the metal, pour it into the spinning centrifuge. It spins round, you leave it for sort of 5 minutes, and then open up. The mould comes out. You open up and break out, hopefully, your castings.
Yeah.
This is our spray room, that's why it's a bit noisy. But it works quite well. We just leave it there overnight and off it goes.
That looks like a little 3D printer. Yeah, that's very familiar. Nice. Another extractor, but gotta have it. Okay. And we're back.
We're back and we're going out again.
Okay.
The rain. You brought the rain with you.
That's all right. We have. Cool trees.
Right, so this is where we make trees, and mainly what we do is we make trees from brass that we etch. But do you mind if I take one of these? I don't realise that. So what we do is we take a brass fret that we've etched, and then we solder a brass rod onto it. On the other side, we put glue gun, hot glue onto it, and what that does, it gives it thickens up the trunk, so you get a
3D
sort
effect.
of the 3D effect. So these would be example of trees having been folded up into 3 dimensions, and what we do is we put wire wool on the very end of the trunks, which just gives the sort of twiggy ends to the branches, and generally speaking what we do is we leave them in this state, and then the customer, see predominantly architects, what they'll do is they say, can I have 1,000 trees at this height, and I want the colour of the foliage to be this colour. These are basically dyed,
like shredded foam or something.
yeah, exactly, so it's dyed rubber, and what we do is we dye it and Pantone match it to our various standard colours, and then we sieve it down to whatever size
look
tree
at
you
that.
might want. This is sort of an example of probably one of the larger ones that we would make. It's basically done in a very similar way, except the foliage is this is wood chip that's been
Yeah, nice
is being
deciduous
dyed.
tree. That's fantastic.
which just gives that
Very
sort
authentic.
of just a feeling where the light just catches it, and it hopefully has a bit of life to it. You can always
Light
see through
background.
them, so they have sort of lightness to them, because they're there to be able to see through and give an understanding of what the eventual building is going to be like. What an architect really doesn't want is a weird looking tree, funny colour, totally solid, that blocks
Distracting.
the view of his building.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really happen this year, but when London Fashion shows on, we end up cutting bits of leather and things like that for various interesting bits of clothing. We also do other interesting things, such as this. This is a laser cut that we've been experimenting
Little
with.
Sphinx cats.
Yes, so
Frito.
we painted on the back of this is clear acrylic. We painted on the back, and then laser cut into the acrylic. So when you look at it from the front, you get quite an interesting view. We also do vinyl cutting, and we were experimenting a bit with you. Have we got that?
Yeah, it should be just beyond the boxes then.
Just another side.
I recognise that.
Yeah, so this is a vinyl cutting that we do, vinyl cutting service. So if we've got the right colour vinyls that we can get in, then we can layer them together. So we've left this apart, so we put registration marks on it, and then we'll basically build it up into the sticker.
Excellent.
So this is just the backing.
That's the back.
I'll just take off two. Tim, do you want to register it?
I'll let you do it. You're the expert.
So it's a very manual process.
It is, yeah. So everything we do is really manual. But that allows us to get a level of detail in everything we do. You just can't get any other way. Everything is done, so we're just keeping an eye out on things at each stage. And it's all bespoke work, so everything is unique to that particular project or customer. So the tape is used as a carrier, and then it's used to register.
This is
onto
very familiar.
Each layer.
This is so cool, man. I love printmaking. That was one of the most fun. So I did my MA.
So it's almost like Photoshop. You do have certain light layers on top.
Exactly.
Wow, it goes to the red. You know.
What we'll do is we'll make the other ones up, and then we'll stick them on lampposts around the place to give you more publicity.
That'd be brilliant.
We'll look for them and we'll go and film them next to the graffiti in the guerrilla advertisements.
Fantastic,
Oh, sweet. This is nice.
Fantastic, thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Lampposts, beware.
On the next instalment of Love Your London, we visit the vastly regenerated Goodman's Fields area. We discuss the connection of mulberries to Aldgate, and much, much more.
And don't forget to bid. The link is in the description below.
Till next time.
From Acton Town to Wimbledon, from Brixton to beyond. Love your London. Have a banana.